Hi, I'm Ken, just like you. I'm a modern astronomer. Everything we do is on a computer these days. So this will be session number 6 of my PixInsight series, where I'm taking basically 10-minute lessons on everything I've learned about PixInsight. Session 1, I showed you some settings. Session 2, I showed you how to look at your subframes and pull them out before you work with them. Session 3 was weighted batch processing. Session 4 was getting rid of the noise and getting rid of all the blurriness in the image. And then step 5 was when I showed you how to stretch. I used 2 different methods to stretch. And then this will be, again, showing you how we're going to get rid of the gradients, how we're going to get the image looking ready for separation of the stars, and then finally we will separate the stars from the image. All right, let's get started. So, a little background. So on this side, we have the images that were generated using Easy Processing Suite. And on this side, we have the images that were generated using generalized hyperbolic stretch. So let's start with our no filter. Okay, remember I have no filters. I have the SII filter and then the HA filter. All used my ASI2600 Color Pro. All right, so step 1 on all the images, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to Automatic Background. I'm going to pull it out. All right, that just got rid of our background for us. So all that yellow is now gone or green. Now this image is not bright enough, but we can work on that. And then the next thing we're going to do on all the images, I've already done BlurXTerminator, we're going to get rid of our gradients. And you see that's very fast as well. All right. Well, most of the time now, I do background neutralization. Background neutralization, there's 2 ways of looking at this. If you use this image or maybe a process or a little piece of that image, and if you don't know how to do that, we're going to click up here. I'm going to go like that, and we have a preview of it, and then we would select that preview. I have learned that when I use the automatic background, when I have a really nice image, a real dark one, I kept the background from it. So that is the background. So you can, with automatic background, you can actually remove and keep the image. And that's a setting that's down here. Replace target, yes. Discard, I have on yes now. But if you do that, you can end up with that black image. The reason that is helpful, we are going to select that. That is called image 19. Click it, and we're going to drag it over. And look, it is actually making it darker and still yet keeping that. So we might come back to that after we work with it a little bit more. All right, so I'm going to leave that open as a tool that we'll come back to. All right, then the next step on all of these images is going to be StarXterminator. So again, I use RC Astro StarXterminator. I have found that it works great. I used to use the free one that really you install when you put in Easy Processing Suite. I find that this one gives you a much smoother image to work with. Again, all the RC Astro stuff was either $99 or $150. Not outrageous considering that we pay for crazy outrageous prices for telescopes, cameras, and filters and stuff. So really, it's one of the cheaper things you can do. All right, so on AI, it comes with 3 different ones. I'm going to use the 11, not the out. I've never tried the no noise. I do not know what that does, but if you remember, we used NoiseXTerminator already. All right, so that'll be our AI. We're going to leave the other 2 where they're at. Process batch is if you were doing this on your subframes before you were going to work with them, you could point to the whole folder and separate your stars from your images that way. All right, so we're just going to drag that over. This will take about a minute. All right, that is completed. So now we have stars. And if you remember, I named them for what they are. So this is my easy processing suite image. This is my with no filter. And then this is my easy processing suite image, no filter stars. Now I'm going to do this to all the other images. Again, this will take about probably about 3 minutes each. All right, I have all the stars separated. So I have my stars that came along with, this is the HA, I believe. Yep, that's the HA. Okay, so there's the HA stars. Here's the C2 stars. And then the no filter stars. But I want to show you this no filter stars. Look at how, I don't know how to say it. They're just blue and ugly. I thought that was interesting as opposed to the no filter stars here that are blue, but they're not so blotchy. So my next step, sometimes I go ahead and I work with the image now. Sometimes I work with the stars. Either way, I'm going to look at all of them, figure out which is my best stars, and that's the one that I'm going to work with. No reason to go through all this online. I'll just show you which one it is. All right, after looking at all the stars and making my decision on it, I decided I was going to try something. And again, remember, a lot of this is experimental. You have to figure out what's best for you, what's best for the image. It's not always the same thing on every one. So I decided I'm going to take PixMath and add all the stars together. So we're going to start with the HA stars, double click plus, 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 double click. All right, so that should be all the stars. And let's go ahead and build them. Look at that. That actually came out very nice. I like that. See, so we have different colors, which is what I'm always after with stars. A lot of times when I work with just the HA or the SI, the stars are white. I like this color. So let's just pump them up a hair. Go to curves, go to RGB, and just go up. I want to go way up, although that kind of works. So let's go up about there. Give it a little light, not a lot of light, and then some saturation. And hit OK. If I do that twice, that's what I'm going to get. And once, that's what I'm going to get. So twice might be too much. So let's just go back to RGB, go up here, light. I don't know if I really need to go lighter, but we'll go a little lighter. And see, look at the difference in colors. That's what I like. Now you got to decide what you like with stars. I see a lot of guys that like pinpoint stars that don't, they pull out more of the nebula that they're after, but not so much of the whole image. So I'm going to rename this one as Final Stars. Now we're going to minimize this. At this point, I don't really need any of these. By the way, the reason it's not prompted me to save is because I saved them. One step I didn't show. I don't always do that. Like I said in other videos, my TensorFlow has caused my BlurXTerminator and anything RC Astro to act up, and I'm still trying to figure out what it is. I thought I had it fixed, and it's back. So I'm saving so I don't have to redo things. All right, we can close that. I think we're going to call it, this is the end of session 6. So really we got star separation. Now in session 7, I am going to take the images themselves one at a time and work on them for what that image needs. Thanks for watching.